It's anticipated to be a weekend of disparate emotions, of laughs and tears. The College of Charleston Opera is bringing audiences to beautiful performances you don't want to miss. Well, joining us on this week's Spotlight Music Series, let's welcome Sandy Diethos, the college's Director of Opera, and Wojtek Milewski, CFC Opera's Music Director. Welcome to you both.
Thank you so much for having us.
Great to see you again. You wear many hats in this community.
Too many.
I know.
Too many.
Well, lucky for us. Lucky for us. Want to talk about the program that is coming up, and feel free, I'll open up the floor to both of you. But I love that you've chosen two different operas that pull at two different parts of your heart.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about the program.
So our double bill is Giordano's Il Re and Gluck's Orfeo ed Euridice. The first being, they're both one acts or less than an hour long. The first is a comedy, and the second is a lot more serious, but ends up with a happy ending.
Yeah.
And it's in Italian, both of them, with English super titles. And it's the place where our students need to work at this point in their education. So that's why we stuck with the Italian repertoire.
Yes, and the students, so the performance is made up of all undergrads.
Yes, it sure is.
Very talented.
Very talented.
However.
Yes, very talented. We're very lucky at CFC to have such a great group of hardworking singers, performers that also have the opportunity to work with the Charleston Symphony, which is a great motivator for them as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
And for you, I mean, normally we have you on to talk about the Somerville Orchestra, but how is opera different from your work in a symphony?
It's so different. You have so many different aspects that you get to bring out. Sometimes when you're working just with the orchestra, it's the story's embedded within the music. But here with the opera, we can help teach our students how to bring out emotions of the story. And both of these pieces do that in such a beautiful way. What's really cool is that Il Re is also like such a super geeky piece for us musicians. Like the orchestra and I are going to have so much fun. It's just so like harmonically dense and musically satisfying. But they both really are, but in such different ways. And I think how different and contrasting they are is also really good for our students to see what opera was like in 1762, but also in 1929.
Right,
so
exactly.
It's such a wide gap that we're bridging. And how do you bring out all these different stories, and both about love in such different ways, but how do you bring that out? And, and it's really a nice challenge.
And let's dive into that a little bit. So Il Re, I won't say it with the trill. The way you said it is so beautifully, so I don't want to mess it up. But that's translated to the king. And so there's a little bit of love, moving on to greener pastures, realizing not so green after all, and then going back again. So maybe tell us a little bit more about
That's a perfect summary of it, I think.
Yes.
Young,
It doesn't go any deeper than that, really.
Honestly, yeah. It's a comedy on the totally surface level. I mean, Rosalina is betrothed to Colombello and realizes, no, I really want to go marry the king because she saw him one day, and that's what I want now. And then realizes later, nope, that's not what I want. That's really all it is. It's just.
I wonder if the king maybe hit the gym a little bit, that maybe would have been more desirable.
You'll see.
Okay, good. All right.
We're not going to give it all away.
Good,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the other one that's based off of the Greek tragedy that many of us are familiar with.
Totally. I mean, it's the classic story. It's sort of the why opera was invented in the first place. Think back to Florence in the 1600s. They started focusing on these Greek stories, these Greek myths that can really synonymously tie to storytelling and music. But Gluck in 1762 decided, opera just got way too complex, y'all. We're done with this 3-4 hour business that the plots get so obscure, you get lost and it's so dense musically. Let's simplify things. And so that's what he did. He took the same story like as the original Florentine Camerata did to create opera. He's like, you know what? Let's use the same vehicle in a much smaller fashion. So it's basically 3 characters. You have Orfeo, Eurydice, and Love, Cupid, Amore, however you want to define the third character. And the chorus really acts like the 4th main character. And that's what's really cool about this. Everyone on stage is tasked with this big responsibility. You are the chorus. You're either a Fury in Hades, or you're one of the. It's just there's so much for everyone to do. So it's the classic love story.
Yeah. And in the program at CFC, so what do you look for in aspiring opera singers? And do many of these singers go off to professional careers as opera singers, or
Oh, that's a great question. So what are we looking for? First, you're looking for if they have a voice, right? You look to see if they have the talent.
Yeah.
Because if you can't sing opera, then I'm not sure you could do
Apply
opera.
elsewhere.
Yes, apply elsewhere. Do our students end up in professional careers? A very small percentage does. But I'm a firm believer in what we do, in that it creates a person who is confident, self-motivated, develops a discipline because they have to in order to learn these operas. So when they graduate, they are sort of armored with these skills that they can really use in any profession, I believe.
It's a great way of putting it.
It took me a while to get there,
Sure.
but because not all of my students end up at the Met, so I had to figure out, okay, then what are we doing?
Right.
So this is what I came to, and it's true.
Yeah.
That we really have a competent group of kids.
Lincoln Center is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Whether you're musician, singer, dancer, but
Right. Administrator, fundraiser.
led into other
planner.
things. Yes.
Yeah.
Interviewer.
Yes.
I'll just say a
Yes.
couple things. All right. So February 22nd, Saturday, it's going to be at the Sotile. You want to get your tickets. Wonderful, wonderful way of spending kind of Valentine's week and month, I should say.
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
So make sure you do get your tickets. And after the break, we've got a performance coming up. Maybe you
Yes.
could set it up for us.
Yes. Would you set up the aria for us?
Yes. Our amazing tenor, Brett Hunter, is going to sing a little portion. It's hard to call it an aria because Il Re is so through composed, but we'll call it an aria from Il Re. It's essentially the moment where Rosalina, the soprano, has just told him, I'm leaving you, goodbye, forever, Colombello. And this is what Colombello will sing to us.
Beautiful. Can't wait. After the break, don't go anywhere.